Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The chairman, members of UbuntuNet Alliance, vice chancellors who are here present, the faculty, researchers, all invited guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. For us as a ministry, we are happy to be here this morning because for us, ICT is a bedrock under which higher education in this country will actually reach the majority of those people who actually aspire. We have a very high demand for higher education here in Kenya, but of course, as many of you know, and of course, as many of your countries are experiencing, we have not been able to address and to meet that demand. Therefore, for us this morning, we are happy to join you because for us, ICT will recognize that is the only way for us to be able to reach everyone and each one of those who are qualified or those who aspire to actually participate in higher education. My minister was prepared to come to this very important conference, therefore, but she has just been called for a state function, and she said her sincere apologies and wishes you well. And we hope that as a ministry, the deliberations of this meeting will input into the strategies of what we are doing within the higher education sector to ensure that we have institutions that are compliant, we have students who are compliant, and we have users who can actually make the full benefit of ICT in their learning situations and even as they do research. With these few remarks, let me first welcome you to Kenya. You have come at a very opportune time. We are happy we have rains. At the beginning of this year, we will not be celebrating, but we are happy and we thank God, despite the difficulties we find getting around, especially on the Thika Road this morning. We are happy that you are here at a time the country is green, at a time that everybody is happy because with rain there is hope. And with this, let me go to the minister's remarks and we share the message that we had for you this morning. Thank you. It is my pleasure to be with you this morning for the official opening ceremony of this important international conference. I wish to extend a special warm welcome to all participants who are visiting Kenya for the first time. And like Kenyans, we all say all the time, we hope we shall take some time off the conference. Professor, make sure that happens for these good people to see some of the beauty that Kenya has and what Kenya is renowned for. I think it's a must before they go back to their different destinations. As you are all aware, since last year when we promulgated our new constitution, education in this country is a light for Kenyans. What is the implication of that? The implication of that is that, as many of you know, since 2003, primary education in this country was made free and compulsory. Secondary education, we have what we call the 3-day secondary education, also in this country. And what is the implication of that for higher education? The implication for that for higher education is that we are experiencing a huge numbers of students who are graduating from secondary schools aspiring to join higher education. And therefore, this has actually pushed the demand for higher education to levels that as a country, we are not able to accommodate within our higher education institutions. Currently, our university system absorbs only about that % of those who qualify from high schools. Therefore, that is why at the beginning we said that we recognize ICT, therefore, we will need to be entrenched as a strategy in addressing this high demand for higher education. Mainstreaming ICT as a delivery mode, we also go a long way, especially for us in Kenya. We are now in the process of establishing the first open university in Kenya, and which will rely heavily on ICT. And therefore, this meeting is welcome because I'm sure the recommendations that will arise out of this meeting will also input in what we are doing as a country. The demand for university education like I have mentioned, continues to grow. To cope with this demand, we have actually continued to establish new universities. Currently, we have 9 new university constituent colleges that are going to be established between now and next year. This will be in addition to the 15 existing university constituent colleges, the 7 public universities, and the 25 private universities. In total, we are hoping that by next year, we shall have 60 higher education institutions. But looking at this and the number of students who are aspiring to join higher education, ICT will still play a key and central role because the universities themselves cannot be able to absorb the existing numbers of students who are graduating. And we are expecting that by 2015, the current number of those who qualify will double to 150,000. And therefore, this is a huge challenge for this country. And that is why we are saying ICT will be the key strategy that will help us achieve the goal of actually ensuring the majority of those who qualify for higher education are able to access. It is also important to note that our public universities have established campuses all over Kenya. How do the universities and the urban centers link with those campuses which are spread throughout Kenya? From northern Kenya to western Kenya, our campuses are all over Kenya, and therefore ICT and e-learning will be critical and will be crucial to bring these institutions closer together. Although most of the open and distance education learning programs are still print-based, majority of our institutions, like I mentioned, are planning and will continue to enhance the use of e-learning to expand their distance learning programs. The rapid growth in the higher education sector, notwithstanding, has brought many challenges, and we believe that ICT will be critical to helping the universities, the higher education sector, to address these challenges. For example, there is tremendous pressure on the government and the universities in terms of funding, getting qualified faculty and retention of the faculty, and infrastructure. However, we recognize that as a government, as a ministry, and I'm sure even Keynote, we work very closely together, these challenges can be solved through the increased use of ICT. We do acknowledge that ICT can be used in governance, management, teaching, learning, and research in order to cope with the huge numbers of students who will be joining the higher education sector. ICT also has the potential to improve the efficiency of managing the right numbers of university student population. The character of the university student population in Kenya is changing. It's no longer when we had our higher education institution concentrated in the urban centers. Like Ariel said, every point in this country, there is a presence of a higher education facility. And therefore, we need to have instruments, automated systems, to bring these two institutions closer together for better management and coordination. The biggest opportunity, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to respond to this growth of student numbers, it will be the ability to use ICT to transform learning, teaching, and research. This will require that students and faculty have access to university learning resources and information system for use on and off the campus. Because we are seeing increasingly here in Kenya, the policy in higher education is to be bold, where admission of students is not tied to bed space. Therefore, most majority of our students will be off campus, and there is need for us to think, this conference to think of ways and strategies where provision of internet to these students who are off the campus can be made so that students can be able to learn on a 24-hour basis, to get in touch with the faculty and their lecturers on a 24-hour basis. It's a critical area that I think this conference needs to deliberate and come up with ways through which this can be made possible, considering that connectivity of internet is really not available, especially to students who come from the slums and disadvantaged areas, and therefore we need to rethink how this could be done. In the past 3 years, Kenyan University through Kenya Education Network, we are happy to commend them for this. The minister sent a special message that we are happy at the work that Kenneth has done in this country to support higher education and to ensure connectivity amongst almost all the higher education institutions in Kenya. Therefore, we say that Kenneth have improved the broadband internet capacity available to students from about 0.4 Mbps per 1,000 students in 2008 to over 10 Mbps per 1,000 students in November 2011. This is commendable indeed. Students now have unlimited access to e-journals, e-books, and other e-resources while on campus, a situation that was not here when the majority of us went to school even in the last 10 years. Again, this is a notable achievement. However, we still continue to face challenges because the number of shared network computers per 100 students is still below 10. And I think this is again something to address because even if we provide the infrastructure and rest the students, because we are talking about students working in and off campus, are provided with computers to be able to access, then I think we shall not be saying that we have successfully entrenched ICT within all our learning processes. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, less than 20% of university students have their own computers. This is limited access to ICT to university students. To respond to this challenge, and I am happy to inform the meeting that the Ministry of Education, that the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, in conjunction with key stakeholders, is exploring different methods of supporting students who need to purchase their own computers and also funding the upgrade of ICT infrastructure in the new university constituent colleges. Further, to ensure that teaching of ICT is entrenched in all our higher education is both public and private, it is a requirement by law in this country that before private universities are accredited, they have established their ICT campus infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest challenge of Kenya, the biggest challenge that Kenya faces in the use of ICT in our higher education institutions, like I have mentioned, is off-campus access to education resources. And we are saying that about 60% of students who live off campus are not able to access ICT. And especially those students who are living outside the urban areas, it is more critical for them because of the low internet connectivity. The cost of off-campus access, we are noting that the cost of off-campus access using mobile internet by student is still relatively high. We recognize that the mobile internet, almost every student I think in this country owns a mobile, and we believe that a handset, and we believe this is an instrument that can be utilized to actually help those students who are not able to have the computers themselves per se. The mobile broadband internet, 3G, is also limited, like I have said, particularly in the rural areas. I therefore urge this conference to make recommendations on how licensed operators could offer special packages for students living off campus to be able to use mobile broadband internet. I would like to sincerely thank Kenneth for the role they have played in ensuring the provision of ICT and broadband services at our universities. Kenneth, as the National Research and Education Network NEREN, is therefore critical for achievement of access and enhancement of quality and higher education in Kenya. Without the assistance of Keynote, it would not have been possible for Kenya to achieve the relatively low prices for broadband internet at only $200 per Mbps. Neither would it have been possible to provide connectivity to the most rural university college or campus. I am sure through this conference, as chairman, we shall be hearing the good practices, the experiences from other countries, so that this can be inbuilt, so that this can help us as a country to move to greater heights from what Keynote has been able to achieve to date. More importantly, Keynote has also provided the government of Kenya with a vehicle for supporting all universities with ICT and broadband internet. We commend them for this initiative, and we shall continue collaborating and working together to ensure that we have a reach out to every institution wherever it is located, and we highly commend them for this. As it was mentioned earlier, the Kenya government has continuously, in recognition of the good work that is being done by Keynote, provided financial support. We have heard that in 2008, they got a grant of $2.15 million for expansion of university connectivity, and we commit as a government to continue working together in terms of developing policies, in terms of financing, and in terms of providing an environment where this novel good initiative can be taken forward. We are happy that through this collaboration with the government, it has also assisted Keynote in actually networking and also creating support networks with other sponsors, private company. I'm happy to hear that there are many private providers who are here, who are partners with Keynote, and I believe this is the way it should be, because for the successful implementation of ICT, everybody needs to be on board, the private sector needs to be on board, and they need to support us as government, especially in terms of the strategic vision and strategic direction. My ministry is also working through Keynote to provide broadband connectivity to the 48 technical middle-level colleges in Kenya, and we have also established broadband campus backbone networks for all our new constituent university colleges that we have mentioned that are upcoming, and also the ones that are already established. However, for this to be successfully implemented, Kenyan universities will have to embark on development of e-learning content. I'm happy to hear that the librarians are also here, because I believe they have a great role to play in this. Digitization of projects, of pieces, and other e-resources required to support the new way of teaching and learning in Kenyan universities. These materials will need to be disseminated to all universities. It is also well known that Kenyan university researchers will need to be at the forefront of adopting and adapting research results and innovations developed in other parts of the world to local solutions. Broadband internet is essential for supporting collaborative research projects. Kenya also has many international and research institutions that are part of the university education ecosystem of Kenya. For example, we have the International Livestock Research Institute and the Kenya Medical Research Institute, you just mentioned a few. These research institutes provide Kenyan universities with access to research databases and content, as well as training opportunities for doctoral students. I am happy to note that through Keynote, the research content is also available to other research institutes in other African countries. This is the way it should be, sharing knowledge. You know, when we say that we are moving to the knowledge economy, this is the way it should be, and we commend them for this. Furthermore, since Keynote is part of the Global Research and Education Network, Kenyan researchers and students have access to resources available at other universities and research institutes. Similarly, content hosted by our universities and Keynote is also available to other global users. This means that faculty and researchers, even in rural areas, in rural areas of Kenya, are no longer isolated, because ICT has brought higher education together. We all belong to one family. University students in Kenya adopters of technology. ICT supports their innovations as they create new mobile applications or create content in their different disciplines. Students are also being able to increasingly participate in international competitions in different subject areas. ICT is also making it easy for faculty and researchers to establish partnerships with the private industry and to collaborate with the researchers at other universities. Thus, the Kenya government views broadband internet and the connectivity for universities and research institutes as an innovation platform for researchers, faculty, and most important, students. The government will therefore continue to support universities to establish broad infrastructure as a way of promoting innovation. I'm therefore happy that this conference will give each of the participating African countries, research institutes, education institutions, private providers, an opportunity to share their experiences and develop strategies for integrating ICT in university education in order to improve access and quality of higher education within the continent and beyond. We are happy that this is a very well-attended conference. We are informed there are about 15 African countries. This is an array of resources, a very rich experience that can be utilized to actually drive use of ICT within our higher education system to greater heights. I therefore encourage all African countries to support and create operational national research and education network for those where they do not exist. Our experience in Kenya with Keynote has shown that national research and education networks are critical for advancement of university education. In this world of technology, national research and education networks are essential for higher education policy, advocacy, and it makes it easy for governments and other donor agencies to support universities and...
Hey.
Okay.
Power.
Okay. Okay, you're almost there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, but I think it's okay. Therefore, what we are saying, I think this is important for this conference in this world of technology. National Research Education Network are essential for higher education policy, advocacy, and it makes it easy for governments, like we have our experience in Kenya through Keynote, and other donor agencies to support university and research institutes in a cost-effective manner. Finally, let me thank the organizers of this conference. We were told he was, I have forgotten his name, but we want to thank you sincerely. Tusu. We want to thank you sincerely. The team that has worked very hard to bring this conference together, we thank you. We also told that the professor has mentioned that there are people who have funded, who have supported this. We also want to thank you very much. And I think after this conference, I think we shall be able to say it was worth it. We shall be at a higher level, at a higher platform, through which we can be able to integrate ICT within the higher education systems, even using new and modern ways better than what we are currently doing. I wish all of you fruitful deliberations during this conference, and it is now my great pleasure to declare this conference officially opened.